All right, Mario, we got more playoff hockey, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Bruins and Capitals first. Oh boy, Mario, Bruins lead the series 2-1. That game went to double overtime. Oh, I enjoyed every last second of it. This was a really good game, Mario. Um, Once again, the Bruins tied it in the third quarter, but this time it didn't end in the first overtime. It ended in the second overtime. Craig Smith with the last shot, Mario. Mario. Let me tell you something, okay? That last shot, dude. He had a sleeping guy goalie, bro. Let me tell you something. He had Samsonov sleeping on that last shot, Craig Smith, bro. He went. All right, so here's what happened, all right? Because like I guess the there was nobody protecting him, so he had to go behind the net and get the puck. But I guess Craig Smith beat him too, and he had to get to the net quickly to protect it. But he didn't see the puck, so he was just kind of standing there, and it just breezed right by him. Like the dude just didn't even see it. It was a really, really nice shot. It was kind of like he came from behind and got him from the side. It was a really nice shot. Um, he had 4 shots on goals that game, and he had an assist. So overall, he had 2 points. Taylor Hall had a goal and shots on goal. And same thing with Brad Marchand, who ended up tying the game in the third quarter. He had a play and 2 shots on goal. So the Bruins had a good offensive game. They also had a really good defensive game as well. The overtime was more defense than it was offense, which is why I even went to second overtime to begin with. For the Capitals, Nick Dowd had a goal. He had 1 shot on goal, surprisingly enough. Alex Ovechkin had a goal, and he had 4 shots on goals. And let me go back. So I forgot about my boy Tuukka. Tuukka Rask had 35 saves at 37 shots. He did a really good job, Mario. As usual, we expect that out of Tuukka Rask. He had a save percentage of 94, which is really good. Again, we expect that out of Tuukka Rask. As for Samsonov, the goalie for the Capitals, he had 40 saves out of 43, which is 93%. So overall, Mario, he did a really good job. Aside from giving up that second overtime goal and all the other goals from the Bruins, he did a really good job. So yeah, Mario. So far, this series is probably the most exciting. Every single game is going to overtime. You know what I mean? And I think I was watching it on Nesson, and I think correct, and I could be wrong on this, but they were mentioning how because the Bruins and Capitals faced in the playoffs back in 2012, so almost 10 years ago. They were saying how like this is the 11th consecutive playoff game in which the Bruins and Capitals have gone to an overtime, which is an NHL record. So that's pretty impressive, Mario. And this series is just living up to the hype. And you know what? I'm excited because it's still going to be in Boston. Game 4 is on tomorrow, I believe, 6:30. Yeah, it's on tomorrow, 6:30. It's going to be at the TD Garden. So Bruins fans, stand up. You know what I mean? Cheer on the damn Bruins. We're going crazy this year, guys.
I mean, yeah, Nate, no, you're absolutely right. This is definitely the most exciting series. And I think the reason why this is the most exciting series is because these two teams, I feel like, are actually like equals to each other. See, other teams like there's one team that's like better than something than the other, but these two teams have proven that they are equals in this series. And like we said, I believe we said Bruins in 7. Is that what we said?
Yes.
It looks like it's turning into that. Except this game, Nate, you got it wrong. It wasn't overtime. It was double overtime. See, one overtime was not good enough. They had to make it two.
They had to
But
make it
look,
two.
let me read the stats for the Bruins. Okay, so Craig Smith, I think he was the star of the game. He had 1 goal, 1 assist, and that was 2 points. Then you look at Patrice Bergeron, he had an assist, so he had 1 point as well. Brad Marchand had a goal, so he has 1 point as well. Taylor Hall had a goal, and then Charlie McAvoy had an assist as well, and then Miller also had an assist. But then you go to the Capitals, and they didn't do too bad, Nate. Ovechkin scored his first goal of the playoffs, so shout out to him. Um, Hathaway scored an assist, and then the other goal was from Nick Dowd. He had a goal, and then Mantha had an assist. So when you're ready to look at it, Nate, I mean, scoring wise, they didn't do too bad. This is more to me. I'm looking at these games, and it's been more defensively than anything. But when you're ready to look at it, Nate, they really haven't been playing that bad. Um, Now here's the one thing I want to get to. Okay, the Washington Capitals ended up beating the Boston Bruins on faceoff percentages. The Capitals had 52.3%, opposed to the Bruins 47.7. Here's the one thing I want to point to, and this is with a lot of teams. Okay, both teams on power play, they only capitalized 1 time out of 5 attempts. Like, you got to be better than that. It's as simple as that. Power plays are the best way for you to get goals. Why? Because there's another man off the ice. So you need to take advantage of that. And not just these teams, but teams haven't really been taking advantage of their power plays. When you're ready to look at it, the Bruins out hit the Capitals 60-57. The Capitals out blocked the Bruins 20-14. So when you're ready to look at it, Nate, this series really is even. It really is even, it's always coming down to that overtime in the last one. First of all, I got to give a shout out to Tuukka Rask. He's been doing an amazing job. Correct me if I'm wrong. He had 41 out of 43 saves, correct? Or 43 save attempts.
I'll go back. I think it was a lot lower than that. Let me just go back real quick.
My bad. I was thinking of the. All right, he had 35 saves out of
Yeah, he
37
had 35 saves out of 37 shots. That's
So he
what
did
it
a
was.
rather good. So he did a rather good job. Okay, I'm thinking of Samsonov, who had 40 out of 43. So both goalies did a great job, Nate. You know, it just comes down to that overtime. And for the past two consecutive games, the Bruins have been capitalizing on overtime more than the Capitals. But I'll say this: I think the Bruins are doing a good job getting Ovechkin out of involvement. You know, again, this has been his first goal in the series. You know, now you don't want to. Now you
Him
don't
and
want the cap. What's up?
him and Zdeno Chara as well, because the reason
Right.
why I was so worried about Chara is because he's played with the Bruins for 14 years, so he knows, if anybody
Right.
knows most about the Bruins, it's Zdeno Chara.
Right, and Zdeno Chara again, he's been more of a defender than really a scorer his whole entire career. But when we talk about the head, we're talking about Ovechkin, and they've done a great job getting Ovechkin out of this series. You know, I mean, he's had his first goal now. Again, the Bruins don't want to add momentum to that. You know, they don't want to just keep allowing Ovechkin to score goals because let me tell you something. Ovechkin has to have one of the hardest slap shots in the league. He's always had the fastest slap shot in the league. There's no doubt about that. I mean, his slap shots are absolutely killer. So I think the Bruins are doing a good job in making sure Ovechkin doesn't get those goals. I think Tuukka Rask, again, like we said, he is one of those elite goalies in the league. And I think the Bruins are doing an amazing job keeping him out the game. As for the Washington Capitals, if the Washington Capitals want to beat the Bruins, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to stop guys like Marchand because Marchand has been doing pretty good against them. They're gonna have to stop guys like Patrice Bergeron from assistant people. I think the Capitals need to get the puck away from the Bruins as much as possible. You know, you're winning the faceoffs, but again, that doesn't really. But in this series, it's not really meaning anything because if you look at it, the Bruins are getting more shots on your goalie. So you need to make sure that you protect that goalie. You need to make sure that you get the puck in your possession and keep it in your possession once you win those faceoffs. And that's just something I don't think the Capitals have been doing that spectacularly. But defensive wise, they've been playing really good. It's just been coming to overtime. And past two games, they haven't been doing that great in overtime. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think the next game is going to be in Washington.
No, it's going to be in Boston tomorrow at
Oh,
6:30 at TD Garden.
okay. So right there, that is a game. That is a game I feel is a must win for the Washington Capitals. And the reason why I say that is because, again, obviously the Bruins, obviously they would like to win a game at home, you know? But with the Capitals, if you end up getting a game in Boston, that's huge. That's huge for a momentum shift. Because if they can end up winning a game in Boston and then end up bringing that series into Washington, the momentum can shift easily for the Capitals. So I think this is a big must win for the Capitals. However, again, this is still anybody's series. Like we said, this is one of the most exciting series. Both teams I feel like are evenly matched. And I wish both teams the best of luck. We'll see how they do come game 4.
Go Bees! Yeah. But look, let's get to the next game. Let's talk about the Predators and Hurricanes tomorrow. This was a bad game for the Predators. Let's just say that they lost this game 3-0. Let me just give you some stats. There really isn't much offensive stats from the Predators, but I'll go to the goalie. Juicy Saros. I butchered that really badly, but he saved 30. He saved 28 out of 30, and the only reason why he didn't get to the third goal was because I'm pretty sure it was an empty net, if I remember correctly. I watched a little bit of that game, but let me go to the Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho had 2 goals and 5 shots on goals, so that's really good. Warren Fergale had 1 goal. He had 4 shots on goals. Jeff Fast had an assist. Dougie Hamilton, Brett Pesci also had an assist, and same thing with Andrelli. I can't pronounce that. but you get what I'm trying to say. He had an assist as well. And their goalie Alex Nedeljkovic. How did I do, Mario? Did I do good on that?
Not really.
Whatever. He saved all 32 shots, which is 100%. So overall, Mario, the Carolina Hurricanes defense and offense absolutely showed up last night, and it was the exact opposite for the Predators. They did not show up whatsoever. The offense was not there. The defense was not there, and it cost them at the end of the day. Yeah, Mario, the Predators need to figure something out because now the Carolina Hurricanes are up in the series 2-0. You're going back to Nashville. You're going back to the Bridgestone Arena tomorrow at 7. You're going back in your home crowd. You need to figure something out, Mario. They need to figure it out, because last game they weren't that great. And somehow in this game, you managed to do worse. You know what I mean? So the Predators need to figure something out, Mario, and they need to do it fast because, again, you're going back to Nashville, all right? You get a days of rest, all right? But now you got to go back in front of your home crowd, and now you got to perform and give this team a tough time. They took two in Carolina. Now you got to take at least 1 or 2 in Nashville. That's just what needs to happen, Mario. Otherwise, if you don't win this game, I think the Nashville Predators get swept. I'm going to be honest with you, Mario. But again, they need to figure something out here, So with that being said, best of luck to the Nashville Predators and the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, that game is on tomorrow at 7 at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. So make sure you go check that out. And yeah, Mario, the Predators just need to figure something out.
Yeah, first of all, let me tell you something. I got to give a huge shout out to Sebastian Aho. He had a good game. Again, 2 goals, man, in that one game. But let me explain something to you. I don't think – here's my problem, okay? The Nashville Predators defensively did a good job, Nate. I mean, when you really look at it, there were only there were 30 shots hit against their goalie. It's not too bad, you know what I'm saying? But then you go to the Hurricanes, and their defense has just been amazing. I mean, 32 shots against their goalie, but again, their goalie did a great job of saving all 32 shots. Okay? So Sebastian Aho had a good game. Here's where I think the Predators messed up, man. I'm gonna let you know this right now. Okay? Going back to power play. The Hurricanes capitalized 1 for 3. Okay? Guess how many chances at power play the Nashville Predators had? 7. Guess how many goals they scored? None. That's a problem right there. That's a problem. When you have 7 power play chances and you can't capitalize on 1, that is an issue. And that is something they need to focus on, is capitalizing on power play. I don't know how many times I could say it. I thought 20% from the Capitals and Bruins were bad. 0 for 7 is terrible. It's just as simple as that. And one of those goals could have stopped you from having an empty net towards the end. And guess what happened during the empty net? Sebastian Aho scored his second goal of the night. These are problems, Nate. They ended up beating the Hurricanes in face-off percentage, 52.5 to 47.5. Hits, the Hurricanes just swarmed them 52 to 39. The Hurricanes had 7 more blocks than them, 17 to 10. So when you're ready to look at it, Nate, that's the one area I focus on the most. Obviously, the Hurricanes are a more physical team, but those power plays, you have to capitalize on your opportunities there. I'm not saying make every single one, I mean, even though they're easy, those are like the easiest chances to score. I know you're not going to make every single one, but you gotta make a few power play goals. Those are your chances to succeed right there. Okay, and the defense might have been great. They might have cleared the Hurricanes could have cleared it a lot of times. That's a possibility, but it's your job to capitalize on those power play chances. It's 5 against 4 for a reason. Now use it. It's as simple as that. And the Nashville Predators didn't use it. Soros had a good game again. Soros had a pretty good game, Nate, and I can't really blame him. They let go of 1 goal. He let go of 1 goal, and then the other 2, one was empty net, and then another one was deflected, I guess, into the goal or something like that. I can't remember because according to the thing, it said that the 3rd goal was deflected. But okay, so he let go of 2 goals. My bad, 28 for 30. I'm sorry, my apologies. He let go of 28 for 30. So when you really look at it, Nate, Soros did not do a bad job yesterday. He really didn't. But that offense, again, they're just not capitalizing on things. And last game, Soros didn't do a great job, obviously, because the Hurricanes, I think, beat them worse that game than this game. But again, to get shut out, it really is sad. And to have 7 power play chances and not get 1 goal, that is bad too. So if I'm Nashville, like you said, you're going back to Nashville. That's the good news right there. You're going into your home ice. Win 2 in Nashville, And remember, if you have a power play chance, take advantage of it. Okay, out hit the Hurricanes. If they're gonna be physical with you, you have to be physical with them. It's just as simple as that, Nate. But with that being said, I wish them the best of luck. I will say this before I end. I think Nashville also did a good job of stopping Jordan Staal. I think they did a good job of kind of slowing down Jordan Staal this game because he didn't have an assist nor a goal. So again, credit to them. But other than that, you got to stop guys like Sebastian Aho too, and you have to capitalize on the chances that you have to score, and they haven't been doing that. So with that being said, I wish the Nashville Predators and the Carolina Hurricanes the best of luck, and we'll see what happens in the Nashville.
Absolutely. Let's go to the next game, Mario. And the results of this had me really surprised. The Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. The Jets ended up winning this game 4-1. This is crucial, Mario, because this is game one. They're on the road. So they took that momentum away from Edmonton on their home ice. Both teams scored a goal in the second intermission, but the Jets just absolutely took over in the third period and scored 3, which I got to give them credit for. It was a really great job by the Winnipeg Jets. And you and me don't really have the Jets going that far, but if they continue this, I can see him getting a lot of momentum out of this and going somewhere with it. Now let me get to the Jets stats. Okay, Kyle O'Connor had a goal and assist, and he had 3 shots on goal. Blake Wheeler also had a goal and an assist, and he had 4 shots on goal. Tucker Pullman had a goal and 2 shots on goal, and Dominic Toninato, is that how you say that, Mario? I don't know, but
hang on a second, I got you.
All right. Well, while you do that, he also had a goal and a shot on goal. So overall, hang on.
Yeah, you said it right, Dominic Toninato.
All right. Neil Pielnik had an assist as well. Nate Thompson had two assists, and Mark Schaeferfeld also had 2 assists. So overall, Mario, the Winnipeg Jets on offense did a really, really good job. And their goalie Connor Helleboyek, is that how you say that? These names are weird. I'm sorry.
It's Hellebach.
Hellebach. All right. I'm sorry if I pronounce these names wrong. They're interesting names. He saved 32 out of 33, which is 97%. So overall, Mario, offensively and defensively, the Winnipeg Jets did an absolutely amazing job. And we talked about it yesterday, how the Edmonton Oilers were just that much better of a team. They sure as hell did not play like that last night. And you know what? Let me just go to their stats real quick, Mario. Jesse Puljujarvi. I'm so sorry.
I'll say it's probably Puljujarvi.
All right. He had a goal and 4 shots on goal, and that was the only goal they had, Mario. Tyson Berry and Darnell Nurse had 1 assist each. And as for their goalie, Mike Smith, he saved 18 out of 20. So overall, 90%. That's not bad. The other two were empty net shots. But look, all right. And I mentioned this earlier, how we talked about the Edmonton Oilers were overall a better team than the Winnipeg Jets. You sure as hell did not play like that. And you're in Edmonton. You're in your home ice, which, by the way, it's a very, very beautiful arena. Figured I mentioned that. But here's the thing, okay? You get beat like that at home. You need to capitalize now. You play tomorrow night at 9 p.m. in Edmonton. That's the next game. That's the next game you're gonna have in Edmonton. Before, if there even is a game 5, it goes back there. But the Edmonton Oilers. What they need to do tomorrow night, they need to capitalize, and they need to do it. They have to. It's crucial. Because you just lost game 1 to the underdog. You know what I mean? So, basically what they have to do is they need to step up offensively. Goalie didn't do a bad job, right? I'll give Mike Smith a lot of credit. He saved 18 out of 20, and there weren't really any shots either. So overall, Mario, he did a really good job. It's the offense that I'm concerned about. The offense for the Edmonton Oilers did not show up last night, and they did not do a good job. Defensively, same deal. But again, I do commend Mike Smith. He did a good job. But the defense needs to step up as well. So, as for the Winnipeg Jets, keep doing what you're doing. You're the underdog here. You weren't expected to even beat this team, and now you're doing what you need to do to beat this team. So, nothing much for me to say to the Winnipeg Jets is keep going. That's what you got to do. As for the Edmonton Oilers, the exact opposite. You got to step up now because you got to take a game away from these people and kill that momentum. So, with that being said, game 2 is on tomorrow at 9 p.m. At the Rogers Place in Edmonton. So make sure you go check that out. That's game 2 of the series. Winnipeg leads at 1-0. So best of luck to those 2 teams, and we'll see what happens, Mario.
Let me tell you something, Nate. Winnipeg, I'm gonna be real with you, played almost the perfect game against the Edmonton Oilers. I want to point to something that you did not mention, okay? And I mentioned this when I talked about this game. When I said the Jets, I got the Oilers in 5, I talked about this, and I talked about one man, and they did exactly what I told them to do. Connor McDavid had no shots. Literally, he had 2 shots on goal, no goals, no assists. And he was on the ice for 23 minutes. They cut that head off completely on that beast, and I got to give them a lot of credit. Connor McDavid was no part of that equation. They shut him down, Nate, like badly. Connor McDavid was no part of that game. And like I said, you take away the beast, you allow somebody else to try to score, and they can't do it. Why? Because their captain is not getting involved. Now, again, game 2 could be completely different. McDavid could have a bounce back game. But the way you played against McDavid, keep playing like that against the Oilers. And if you do that, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets sweep him. I wouldn't be. But you have to do that against McDavid every single time. Do I still stand by my prediction? Absolutely. I got the Oilers in 5 still. Absolutely. But they did a great job of guarding Connor McDavid. Oh my God, he had the only penalty in this game too, I believe, as well. I mean, I could. Oh, never mind. No, he didn't have a penalty. The penalty was made by, I believe. Oh, never mind. They didn't have the penalty, but they had the power play. Excuse me. But Connor McDavid, man, he just wasn't a part of the equation. He wasn't part. He wasn't part. They didn't get him involved, and they did a great job of stopping Connor McDavid. And that's what every single team needs to do: find that star and take him out. Because if you take out the star, then other guys have to score. I'm not saying they can't, but when your captain isn't there, isn't involved in the game, and they're not making a contribution to that game, it really does affect that team. So they did a great job of stopping Connor McDavid because Connor McDavid, he just was nowhere to be found that whole game. He played the he played the no, how many minutes? Hang on a second. He played the 4th most minutes on his team. The guys who had more minutes with him were Barry, Nurse, and Dressato. They had the most minutes on their more minutes than McDavid. But McDavid just was nowhere to be found, Nate. It was just you couldn't find him anywhere. But I mean, I gotta give the Jets a lot of credit. They played the perfect game plan. Like you said, you talked about Mike Smith, 18 for 20. Look, I don't think again that's a 90% save percentage. It could have been a little bit better, but the Jets defense again, they were on another level too. They were on another level. They didn't have a lot of scoring opportunities, but they took advantage of the scoring opportunities that they had. And as for the Jets goalie, Hellebuck, he saved 32 out of 33, which again credit to him because he made a lot of good saves and he was a big part of the reason why they won. That is 97%. Going to the actual summary of the game day, you look at the stats and the Jets just destroyed them in almost every way possible. I mean, 60.4% on the faceoffs compared to the Oilers 39.6. Again, you have to win faceoffs in order to get possession of the puck. That's just the way it is. There was one penalty in the game. It was by Winnipeg, and there was a power play, and the Oilers couldn't capitalize on it, so they went 0 for 1. Hits, the Winnipeg Jets out hit the Oilers 68-50. So I mean, like, look, Nate, they outblocked the Oilers 19-8. When you really look at it, Nate, the Winnipeg Jets played an A-plus masterclass game on the Oilers. That's what they did. Okay, they stopped Connor McDavid. Their goalie did what he needed to do to keep them in the game. Credit to him. And then after that, just everything in general, face-offs, hits, blocks, they just beat them. So they beat them on the defensive side and they beat them on the offensive side. And the next game, is that still in Winnipeg? Is that going to Winnipeg
It's
or?
an Edmonton game too. It goes back to Winnipeg.
Okay, all right, that's right. Because Edmonton's the favorites. My bad. Because I completely forgot that they were the favorites because they didn't play like the favorites. But regardless of that, it's staying in Edmonton. Let me tell you something. The Jets can take 2 games in Edmonton. That is huge for them. That is huge. If they could take 2 games in Edmonton and then head to Winnipeg, oh my God, then the Oilers are in trouble. But you got to do the same thing that you did to Connor McDavid. Take away that head. Because even though he had a bad game, let's not forget about the fact that this man had over 100 points this season. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget he is still the star of the Edmonton Oilers. Let's not forget about that part. So you need to do the same exact thing that you did game 1. Game 1, flawless and perfect. Continue doing that. Continue dominating them on every facet of the game. If I'm the Oilers, do the complete opposite of what I said the Jets need to do. Get Connor McDavid involved. Because he was not involved. If he was involved, I think this would have been a different outcome. I really do. Okay? But when you take away that head, They can't. The other team they have to figure it out, and they couldn't. Simple as that. Okay, they need to. The Oilers also need to win faceoffs, and they also need to out hit them. If they're going to be physical with you, you be physical back. And it was a physical game, but it was also a clean game as well. There were not a lot of penalties, as I mentioned. It was only one penalty, and it was 2 minutes, so it was a minor penalty at that. So when you're ready to look at it, win your faceoffs, out hit them. If they're going to be physical with you, you be physical with them back. Don't give up a single inch, okay? And get your captain, Connor McDavid, involved. He was a big part of the reason why you guys are in the position you're in, okay? Get him involved in the playoffs. That's all I got to say. But with that being said, I wish both teams the best of luck in Edmonton, and we'll see how game 2 turns out.
Absolutely. Let's get to this next game, Mario. The Avalanche and Blues. Oh man, Mario, this Colorado Avalanche team just gets scarier and scarier. They beat the Blues 6-3. Let me tell you something about that Nathan McKinnon guy, Mario. Nate McKinnon. Three goals that game, guy.
He had 2 in the last game. That is the best playoff performer this season, no doubt about it.
Three goals last night, guy. 1 assist, 4 shots on goals. That dude just keeps getting better and better.
I seen the game. I seen the game. He was amazing.
Absolutely, man. Jonas Donskoy. Donskoy. All right, I got it for once. He had 2 goals and an assist and 3 shots on goal, so he did a really good job as well. Brandon Saad had a goal and 2 shots on goals. Devin Toews, Mikko Rantanen. Did I say that right? I said Rantanen. They had 2 assists and 2 shots on goals each, so that's a really good job. Overall, Mario, this team did a really, really good job on offense. I don't really got much to say about the Colorado Avalanche. And their goalie, Phil Grubauer, he saved 32 out of 35, which is 91%. So, overall, the team did really good. As for the St. Louis Blues, Mario, Samuel Blaze had a goal and 2 shots on goals. Torrey Krug had a couple assists and 5 shots on goals. Mike Hoffman had a goal and 3 shots on goals. And Braden Shin, he had a goal and 2 shots on goal. And as for their goalie, Jordan Binnington, he had 29 out of 33, which is a save percentage of 87. So he could have done better. But look, Mario, you just lost 2 in Colorado. You're going back to St. Louis tomorrow at 9:30. The Blues need to figure it out. They do. They got to figure this out. And I said it, Mario. I called a sweep. I'm going to be honest, and I called a sweep earlier this week. So I'll say this about the Blues, okay? If they lose this next game, they're getting swept. That's just what's gonna happen. If they're in the same boat as the Nashville Predators, they do not win game 3, they are getting swept. That's just what's gonna end up happening. So they need to figure something out offensively, defensively. Jordan Binnington, like we talked about him, he's doing a very, very great job. Obviously, this game he could have done a little better, but he did what he could, and that's really the best you can ask out of him. So overall, Mario, not much for me to say here. Colorado Avalanche, keep doing what you're doing. That team just gets better and better, doing a really, really great job. But then again, they better be, because they're the President's Trophy team, so they better be doing a good job. Unlike a certain team from a couple of years ago. But look, best of luck to both teams. The game's on tomorrow. At 9 p.m. 9:30. It's 9:30, right? Is it? Let me just check real quick. I'm pretty sure it's 9:30 tomorrow. Yeah, it's 9:30 tomorrow. It's at the Scottrade Center in St. Louis. So make sure you go check that out. And yeah, Mar, Blues just need to figure something out.
Yeah, I was watching this game. I was flipping back and forth on the channels. I was watching this and then like the NBA playing. So I was flipping back and forth. Let me tell you something about this game. I gotta give Jordan Binnington a lot of credit. I know, and I don't know. Did you watch this game or no?
I watched a little bit of it as well.
Okay. Let me tell you something, Nate. First period. This is what the Avalanche scored. I believe they scored 2 goals on them. Okay, ready? First period, the Avalanche outshot the Blues 19-6 on goal. Get this. I looked at the game. When I first turned on the channel, they were outshooting them 25-12. So explain this to me, okay? How did each team end with 35? So since that probably around that first period, right? Since I looked at it, it was probably like the start of the second period. Over 20 minutes, the Avalanche only had 10 shots on goal. I gotta give them a lot of credit. The defense really did help Bennington during the second and third period. Here's the problem though. Okay. He let go of, I believe, 2 goals in the first. Okay. One was by Donskoy and the other one was by McKinnon. He let go of 1 goal in the second. That was by Donskoy again. So he had 2 goals as well. And he had a great game. But then the third period came, Nate. And then let me tell you something. This Brandon Saad, right? He scored on an empty net. They put McKinnon back. They put Bennington back in. McKinnon said, "Let me just score on this man real quick," and they did it. So I mean, like, hey, I gotta be honest with you, Nate. Look, but let me tell you something. The Blues fought, man. They fought. They really did fight because that third period, I think probably around 10 seconds after the Saad goal, the Blues ended up scoring again. It was like a minute. I'm looking at the time right now. It felt like 10 seconds to me at the time. It was like a minute and a half later, I guess. Or like, yeah, like a minute, probably like about a minute and 10 seconds later. Hoffman ended up scoring for the Blues, and he ended up turning it into a 3-2 game. And they were just, or a 4-3 game, excuse me, a 4-3 game. And the Blues were staying in as long as they can. But what happened? Somebody named Nate McKinnon came along and just ended up, just expanding that lead. So I mean, it was a 4-2. Nate McKinnon scored on a wrist shot. Then Hoffman scored Hoffman scored not too long after that. He scored about probably like 30, 40 seconds after that. Then Brandon Saad ended up making it 5-3. And then they ended up emptying the net at the end. And then McKinnon ended up getting the puck. He ended up getting in possession, scored an easy wrist shot. But let me tell you something, Nate. Okay, Nate McKinnon has to be the most impressive playoff performer this season. I don't think it's close. You can point to like Fleury. You could point to a lot of other guys, but without a doubt, I think you can point to anybody on the Lightning, but right now I think it's definitely Nate McKinnon. This man has scored 5 goals in 2 games. Ridiculous, man. And I say it. Look, that first line for the Avalanche, Rantanen, McKinnon, and Landeskog, they are ridiculously good. That first line is ridiculously good, and McKinnon is the biggest part of it. Donskoy had a great game as well, 2 goals. So we got to give these guys a lot of credit. I believe the 3 stars of the game were McKinnon, Donskoy, and Mike Hoffman. So credit to them. But I mean, like, you look at the actual stats for the team, and the Avalanche beat them in faceoff 64.3% to 35.7. Avalanche went 2 for 2 on power play, which thank God there's finally a team capitalizing on power play. I thought I'd never see it in these playoffs, but there is a team that is capitalizing on power play, and the Blues didn't do a bad job neither. They went 1 for 2. Hits, the Blues out hit them 26-19, so that's something you could definitely take into the next game. And then takeaways, the Avalanche beat them 10-4. So when you're able to look at it, I'll say this: the 2 things the Blues can take away is they're hitting the Avalanche a lot, and when they were behind on shots on goal, the defense was stiffened up, and they were able to even it up at the end. So I got to give the Blues credit on that. However, okay, these 2 games were in Colorado, right? Which means they're heading to St. Louis next. Okay, these next 2 games in St. Louis are crucial for the St. Louis Blues. Okay, if the Avalanche take a game, I still got the Avalanche in 5. I still have the Avalanche in 5. That's still my prediction. I think the Blues will win 1 game, but they have to do it in St. Louis. Okay, so the Blues take 2 games in St. Louis to even up the series. They got a tough road ahead because right after that you got to go back to Colorado. So this is a tough road for the Blues. But you know what? They have to stick with what they've been good at this series, even though it hasn't been a lot. They have to stick with what they've been good at, and they have to realize what they've done wrong. Okay, Binnington again. He hasn't been playing the greatest. Okay, face-offs you got to do better. You can't let them outbeat you almost 31%. Can't let or 31%. You can't let them outbeat you by that. So you got to do better there too. It's just as simple as that. And in takeaways, you got to keep the puck in your possession. It's just as simple as possible. So with that being said, I wish both teams the best of luck. As for the Avalanche, keep doing what you're doing. Nate McKinnon, keep getting him involved. He's been doing a great job. Him, Rantanen, and Landeskog, that first line has been doing great. So with that being said, best of luck to both teams, and we'll see how they do game 3.
Game 3, yes. Game 3 is tomorrow. at 9:30 p.m. So make sure you go check that out. Now we gotta talk about one more series, Martin. This is the final first round series that is starting. It is between the Canadiens and Maple Leafs. Let me give you some quick stats. I'll start off with the Canadiens first. They're 24, 21, and 11. They're fourth in the North Division. And throughout the season, Mario, they've had 158 goals, 257 assists, and 415 points. So they basically got into the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. As for the Maple Leafs, they're 35, 14, and 7. So they're first in the North Division. They have 186 goals, 336 assists, and 522 goals. Yeah, Mario. Honestly, I can't stand these two teams. So I'm a Bruins fan, so I can't stand these two teams. So I don't care who wins this, but from an analytic standpoint, the Maple Leafs are sweeping this series. It has to be a sweep, Mario. There's no way in hell you let a team that barely got into the playoffs make you lose one game. I got to sweep in this one, and it better be a sweep. I gotta, oh man. But look, from an analytic standpoint, though, in all seriousness, I do got the Maple Leafs sweeping the series. I really do. Just don't face Boston, or else you're not going to go further into the playoffs. So,
I got the Maple Leafs in 5 or 6. I'm gonna go 5, but I think this series is gonna have a couple exciting games that people might not expect. For instance, like the one thing I look at, Nate, is don't get me wrong, the Maple Leafs are good. I mean, they have 3.35 goals per game, which is tied for 5th, and they have 2.59 goals against them per game, which is tied for 6th. So when you really look at it that way, Nate, compared to the Montreal Canadiens, who have 2.77 goals per game, which is 17th, and 2.89 goals against them per game, which is 18th. Obviously, those stats are like one team is just another level above the other. But I look at the goalie, Nate, and there's one guy I'm really looking at, and he's a guy who's a veteran. His name is Carey Price. Carey Price is a good goalie. I mean, he's 12, 7, and 5. He has a percentage of 90% save percentage this year. And he allows 2.68 goals per game. And then I look at the goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and his name is Frederick Anderson. He has a record of 13, 8, and 2, and he has a save percentage of 0.897, which is basically 90% as well. And he allows 2.91 goals per game. So when you really look at it, I can see a lot of close games in this series. I can see a couple games even going to overtime. I don't think this is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs that's beating the brakes off of Montreal. I think Montreal is going to give them a fight, but at the end of the day, I have Toronto winning it in probably 5. But I think this is going to be a pretty good game, Nate. I really do. I think that a couple of these games are going to go into overtime. I think a couple of these games are going to be close. But I got Toronto in 5. So you know what? Give me the Toronto Maple Leafs.
right, absolutely. I don't care who wins the series, but they're just two Canadian teams that hate the Boston Bruins so much. So I really don't care who wins the series. But with that being said, either way, best of luck to them both. Game 1 is going to be tonight at 7:30 p.m. in the Scotiabank Arena. Shout out to Drake. You better go catch your team out. Yeah, we'll see what happens with them. So congratulations to them, or actually best of luck to them, I should say. And best of luck to all the other teams playing today and tomorrow. And we'll see what happens in the results moving forward.